We're going to read these words of the Hopi elder that have been coming to us from 2000. You have been telling people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour and there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in right relation? Where is your water? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth. Create your community. Be good to each other. And do not look outside yourself for your leader. Then he clasped his hands together, smiled, and said, "This could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. No, the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. And I say, see who is in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey come to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for." As I was just pondering and just moving around this morning, I had a vision of a river and that helped me to understand what's happening in the world today. Because for the last 4 or 5 years, we have been seeing that the world is getting more and more polarized. It's being polarized politically, it's being polarized experientially. People are taking, and I understood once that polarization means very clear sides. So outwardly, we may think that polarization is negative, bad, and low vibration. But if you look at it, it actually shows that that vibration is becoming higher. And that's why things are becoming very clear, white and black, just like the yin and yang. And today I saw a river, and I saw it in two ways. And I saw the river parting, going back to its source. It's just like what happened in the world before was that many tributaries were coming together. We were opening up from our countries and getting to know one another. Globalization was taking place in many ways. Economy and meeting one another, being open to one another, understanding one another's religions, becoming, as we said, spiritual and not religious. These things were happening when all the tributaries were coming together to attempt to form one huge river. But that one huge river never really became one. It became huge, but it left out many people and many energies who could not assimilate. So some people kept having a more and more difficult time in life. What I see now is that the flow of the water is back to its source. So when we go back to the source, we'll go back into our tributaries and to the different springs from which we have sprung. Because we have been mixed up in one river, we may not go back to the same spring from which we took birth. Just to give an example, if a person was born in India, maybe when they go on, they'll go to Bulgaria. They'll go to a completely different country because now we are not going to the source of the spring from which we took human birth in this lifetime. We are going back to the spring where our soul is connected. So it's actually a good time. We have already reached the middle, and we are actually already in the middle of the river that the Hopi elder had spoken about so many years ago. Everything else feels the same. And I'll say one more message which came, and that was about the undertows. Normally, when you look at an ocean, you see that the ocean has waves on the surface, and is, as you go deeper, it is more peaceful. But the river I saw was very peaceful on the surface, but underneath there are tows, there are pulls, and we may be getting pulled in many different ways. So for some reason, I'm actually being shown that uh, we need to expand into our wholeness and into all the layers, but be very aware what the layers are. At the same time that you're feeling distressed, be aware of your peacefulness. And at the same time that we are feeling peaceful, be aware at what is distressing us. Because all of this is necessary. We have reached a time when we realize that all emotions, all feelings, all senses are going to help us to reach where we need to reach, and we will get all the messages we need to receive. And with that, I hand this over to Danae.
I'm left speechless. I have nothing to say. That was so exquisite and clear and brilliant, beautiful. I love what you just shared. A fabulous offering. I am being guided in this moment for us to actually interact with each other on this call, to ground in self-reflection what you just explained to us. That's what Thea is telling me to do instead of going into a direct experience, to give space for our humanness. And we'll go around the circle for those who feel like they just want to be in silence and not share about that. That's fine, but at least let us hear you say pass, or put it in the chat that you pass. So for self-reflection, let's keep it to like maybe 1-2 minutes tops for each person to share their experience of what Meenakshi just described as you reflect on yourself, what you're observing. And let's go around and do that so we could, you know, a lot of times we go up to the light and we bypass our whole human experiencing, and we really need to digest and integrate our experience in the form. So that's the purpose of this exercise. So who would like to share about that first? What are you observing about yourself based on what Meenakshi has said?
And after sharing, please say when you have stopped, so then you pass the talking stick on.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go? Okay. What she said was really accurate for me. I stand in that I know we are shifting. I know we are coming into the God and Christ consciousness, and that there's no question where we're headed. And so I don't know, I just feel I'm just doing whatever I can do to balance my body out, my thinking, and when I get, you know, sort of weird in the world today. But I know where we're headed, which is very reassuring. And when I say that, when I tell people that, I know that God is coming to the world and that we will be connected and we will be in that. And it gives them, I can tell, it gives them hope and courage to follow that feeling, because with what's going on in the world today, it is hard to say, are we really going to get there? And so I just follow what my guides are showing me and having me do. And it's, you know, and I still have to deal with my physical world, you know, so, you know, the water and the different levels and stuff. I don't know, I just know that we are there, you know, that we will be there, and not to fixate on all the havoc and things that are going on that we can't understand or why it's happening, and to just try to grab onto that anchor of knowing that we are going to be there. Thank you. Aho.
Aho. Pass on the talking stick, White Feather.
Tree.
Tree, can you unmute your mic, please?
Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if I was being called on. And I just got Johnny, so he just joined. So just observer. But he's an observer. I was a little distracted, but no, I agree with everything White Feather said. I think I'm on a few words here. So I don't really want to go into anything else right now. Thank you.
Okay. Can we have Heike speak now? I think Heike's internet connection is bad. Okay. Yes, so it's possible emotions are going up and down, and trust. Well, it is the new moon, and the new moon is a time when the moon and the sun are rising and setting together. So we can't always see the moon. And I'm feeling that this time, because it's still eclipsing the sun, in many parts of the world there is a solar eclipse. So the emotions are coming out. They can't be hidden. They're not being beautifully corseted by the sunlight. So yes, many weird and interesting things are happening. And like you said, yes, remain centered. Johnny, I know you were not here when we shared something in the beginning, but if you have a word that you would like to bring into the circle, or a feeling about the world, uh, or just something, then you're very welcome. If you unmute your mic, then we will call on you. But if you don't want to, that's okay as well. So I think that's on to you now, Danae. Your mic is muted, Danae.
Okay.
What's your name?
That's Johnny here now.
Oh, hi, I'm Trace's brother. She's telling me about this Zoom thing, and I'm.
You're supposed to tell a word.
I'm
right?
here to listen to you people, and I also I was Gemini is my sun sign, so it seemed like an interesting thing to listen to.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll share from my human experiencing first, because that's what was requested of us. I am noticing in myself within seconds, patterning being stimulated where the contraction comes up, and the hard emotions and the old grooves of wanting to like a toddler, stomp my feet and say it's not fair and it's not right. And seconds after that is this flush of the spirit and this bright-mindedness and open-heartedness that knows that it's all a play, not to everything that's been said, not to take it personally, that it's just fluid moving energy, and that as I label emotions to raw energy, I give myself the experience of the emotion. Like it could just be fire moving from my gut, but if I label it rage, then I tell myself, oh, I'm full of rage, as opposed to the raw energy of fire is moving through my body. So I'm in it deep, second to second, and have been for a while now. And the way that I experience the energy today in particular is very high, creative alignment, creative genius with the universe. So if I target my focus toward what bothers my personality, it's accelerated and more dramatic. if I target my focus toward using that same fire to generate and create my intentions for the good, same thing, it's generating and it's excelled. So I am having the direct experience that the universe is not judging experience, it's just providing experience. And I am tasting, according to my will and my focus, what I serve myself is coming from where I orient myself. And I believe that that's happening globally for all of us. And today there's a particular accent on the speed of the feedback. So I'd like to pay attention to that and invite us all to have compassion and humor and as much laughter as we can come up with for ourselves, especially today. The river is swift today. So that's my human experiencing of the things we're talking about. Next, I'd like to take us into a direct experience with THEA, my guides directing us, and Gaia, the God that we all are manifest, and let that start to direct the experience from here. So if you would join me, let's just close our eyes and drop in. Thank you everyone for sharing, and see where we go. I have no agenda and there's nothing in my awareness. So I'm on the ride with you. So let's start off by just getting quiet. Maybe if it feels good for you, shake out your body, let all this frenetic energy that's moving all over the place just go. Stomp your feet, shake it out. Just let yourself take those extra currents and ground them into Pachamama, to the body of Mother Earth. Greetings, we are THEA, and we are grateful for your presence this fine day. Please make mental notes or notes on the computer, or take a moment to get pen and pad, for we are moving forward with your intent this day. The doors are open, the galaxy is peeking in at you, and all beings want to know what you want. So let's take a moment to set you up for noting what it is you are creating on this fine day. Please know that if you are on this call, or if you are watching this call after it is recorded, it is on purpose. You are here because you are spearheading the light. You are giving shape, form, direction, and intention to the materialization of that which you will to have happen. Honing the focus of your will is very important at this time. So what is your will? If you stand for the expression into form of the merged rivers as one ocean of being, then be clear that you stand for that. You may notice your mind and your emotions traversing through the waves, the up and down, the undertow, and the skipping rock above the river and the ocean. You may notice a lot of movement in your experience, yet your will, your focused intent, directs the current through your individuated stream. You cannot be separate from the divine. You cannot be separate from God. You are that stuff, the same stuff that everything is made of. You are that. Thou art that love. And so the idea or hallucination that you are separate from the divine that you are is simply that. It is a story, a hallucination, and an idea, and it is not real. And while you move in this dream of your earth walk, your incarnation, it is useful to remember that this is not real. This is a dream. It is the dream in the mind of God. And the divine, the God, does not do things to you to teach you lessons. You are 100% responsible for your creations. Now, your personality may say, I wouldn't have created that for myself. What do you mean? And we say to you, you are God sparked. You are a spark of God. You are a spark of the divine. As that, you come into form as a soul incarnate. And as soul incarnate, you have brought into this incarnation your purpose and agenda. Your soul is fully awake and fully informed as to that which you will encounter for experience in this lifetime. The ego mind of the human being judges experience and labels this good and this bad, this pleasant, this unpleasant. And that is where you get lost. So we are inviting you now to note to yourself, among all the experiences you could possibly call into being, materialize into form, bring into your experience, what would you choose? What do you wish to create for yourself? Let's take a moment and have you tune into your soul. So feet on the earth, if possible, or if cross-legged, feel the root of your spine extending down like a tail into the belly of Mother Earth, grounding the vessel that your soul is using that appears as a you, a body, an individuated self. You are a little wave, part of the ocean of being. You are not separate. Go ahead and ground into your own sovereign experience of being individually expressed while divinely connected. And there may be chatter of mind, there may be judgment, there may be confusion, there may be, I don't know what I want. How am I supposed to know what I want? All of this conversation is just part of the character your human self plays in this dream world. And so decide that you do know. Make the decision, I do know what I want. And if I think I don't know what I want, I am willing to guess what would delight me, what would cause fulfillment, what would be of service, how can I lift up others, what is celebration for me? If I had a magic wand and could create the world I choose and wish to see, what would I bring forth? So begin with this from within yourself. What is your contribution to your life? Your life, your individually expressed wave as part of the ocean of the divine. As you rise up from the ocean of the divine and you see all around you, there is reality to be created, an experience to be had for your own being, for your own soul evolution, for your own development. Take a moment and tune in and ideate and imagine and be bold and creative and think outside the box. What would you like to bring forth in your life? Or how would you like to feel in the experience of your life? Let us take a moment or so and jot down what arises for you. Good, this is a beginning. You can return to your list as you wish. Now, for some, the word forgiveness has come up and you are tuning into whom might you forgive? Who do you need to forgive? If you can bring forgiveness into this world, how would you share it? And we say to you, forgive yourself first and foremost, because the personality, the ego, the experience of your humanness does not necessarily fully comprehend what it means to be 100% responsible as soul incarnate. And so there is forgiveness for the tender self of the human spirit. If you are having challenges or difficulties, if you are having trouble digesting the energy in your life, then beginning with forgiveness for self. I forgive myself for having a difficult time with this. I forgive myself for getting confused as I intend only to bring light. I forgive myself for the hostility and resistance that arises in me. See what there is that is necessary for you in self-forgiveness before you attempt to serve that dish to the outer world or to any other being. Always begin with the self. Compassion is another strong terminology. Compassion. Always begin with the self. I offer compassion to myself, for my human aspect has such a challenge being the embodied soul. I offer compassion to myself for when I forget that I am the divine embodied. And I truly am here in the state of love, and that is all that is of my intention, is love. I have compassion for myself when I find it difficult to be that, live that, feel that, and express that. Do you see like this? So begin with forgiveness and compassion for self first, and then you can genuinely and authentically extend it to others, because you cannot give what you do not have. You cannot give what is not in your experience. And so we are reaching for impeccable integrity in these days and times, for that is what is needed to continue to support the light to embody through all structures. All human beings have patterns. The patterns come from many lifetimes and many etchings and many judgments of experience. Experience is simply that, pure experience. You are souls gathering experience, and your judgment upon it creates a tension or a release in your body, mind, spirit systems. So now we are moving on. Those are two important qualities, forgiveness and compassion. So you have stated for yourself that which you wish to bring forward, that which you will, that which you intend for yourself. Yes? So take a breath of that, feel that, allow that in. Let yourself receive with the fullness of your soul and your human heart that you are worthy and deserved of these things that you have first written. Taste them, breathe them, feel them, affirm them. And now, as a personal spark of God, it is important to recognize that God is asking for your feedback. The beautiful, all omnipresent God that is, whatever your terminology for God is beautiful. We use the terminology God because it is short, fast, and easy. So God sparked into a million, billion, trillion expressions, creative aliveness of its own self. He, she, knowing itself through the fullness of the human experience. And the God within you, the God spark that you are, is looking for feedback. How is it going? What feedback might you have for the omnipresent as to the human embodiment and what you are experiencing? What is your collaboration? What is your genius? What feedback do you have? What is your offering? And so now we take a moment to consider, what is my offering back to the Godhead? What is my offering back to the divine? As a wave, what is my offering to the ocean? God is asking for my creative input, the genius and the brilliance that I am. What feedback do I have to the Creator for the creation? What feedback do I have? What is my contribution? What is my creation back to the Creator? God, I'd like to contribute this. I'd like to see this happen. Now you are reaching beyond the personal self into serving the collective, into serving, shaping, sculpting, creating the dream of reality. In answering this question, what is your offering of creative brilliance back to the all that is? Let's take a moment and tune into this for yourself. And now notice your offering. Notice the offering of genius, of brilliance, of imagination and creativity that comes directly through you, an expressed wave of the ocean of being, giving feedback to the ocean. What is it that you are calling forth, that you are willing into being, that you intend for the good of the all, for feedback to the divine, to create heaven on earth? What is your offering? Taste it, notice it, breathe it, receive it, acknowledge. You have this genius and this capacity. It is the God spark within you, providing feedback to the God spark that is all. Your contribution is significant, imperative, and needed. So many times in the human embodiment, one is looking outside themselves for the authority to tell them who to be and what to do and how to feel and when. And yet here you are, the beloved, embodied in form. You are creating the reality. You are sculpting the dream from the oneness of the love that you are, from the brilliance of the God consciousness that you are embodied through the dream of the human incarnation. You are collaborating and contributing. There is no other way that new consciousness gets born. It is through you. There is no way for you to be disconnected from the divine. You are that embodied. So your contribution and your coming up with your contribution and your passion for your contribution is needed. You matter. Your ambition for the good actually feeds the whole. You are that important to the whole system. Some of you wish to bring love, joy, celebration, happiness. And these values are so useful for the world to help shape and sculpt the energies and frequencies to give them directive. And we say to you, you must be embodied in that. You cannot bring that which you are not living. And so we invite you to be authentic and genuine with yourself. If you are wanting to bring joy and you are not experiencing joy, be honest with yourself and go to that divine spark within you. And you may say, I want to bring joy. I am not genuinely feeling joyful. Help me, Great Spirit, help me, Creator, help me, God, help me, Divine, help me, myself, capital S, to surrender open, to let move whatever must move so that joy may be mine. Joy may move through me. I humble myself and I ask for help, because sometimes the human will cannot generate it. Sometimes the human will requires divine will to be able to access frequencies that are not readily available because of patterning. There's nothing wrong, you haven't failed. It is simply patterning that is in the way, like creating static on a clear screen. So you turn to the God spark within you, you turn to the divine and you ask for help. Please allow me to be cleared that I may experience the frequency of pure energy. I like to call it joy. I wish to put the emotional label on the pure energy as joy. I like that frequency. Help me to experience it. And then when it is genuinely in your experience, then you have that resonance to be able to share it in the field with the collective. And if joy is too high a frequency, then you aim for calm. You aim for peace. You aim perhaps for gentle happiness. And then the volume on happiness turned up and you step your way in frequency to joy. Do you see? And the same is true with celebration. You are celebrating the new moon. You are celebrating the vivid creations coming forth from the fountain of the light that you are. Indeed, celebrate it. Do not force celebration mentally if you are not feeling it genuinely. Ask, help me to feel. What is there I can genuinely, authentically celebrate right here in this moment, right now? And let me be the fountain of that genuine celebration. And in that, it is a gift to the collective, not because you are trying to give the collective your celebration, but because your state of existence and the frequency of celebration is the gift. It resonates into the field. It saturates into the collective. And that is your purpose here. So many of you with altruistic hearts want to run out and take care and fix what is happening out there. And we say to you, it is always, 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 and you have heard this many times, an inside job. Yes, because you are one with the whole. So that which you do for yourself within, you do for the whole automatically. And that is the way of it. That is how it works. So we take a moment here to let the energy settle. Feel your seat and your feet. And we invite you now with a long, slow, deep breath to quiet the mind and turn within to your God spark, to your divine within, and to ask, if you are willing to ask, what is there that I need to hear? What illumination needs to come upon me? What do I need to know right now, this moment, that serves for my evolution in the total beingness of that which I am? What do I need to receive, hear, feel, see, know, have impressed upon me to assist in my evolution? And we'll take a moment for you to receive that. Now we will conclude this experience by allowing everything you just gave to yourself in your creation, in your embodiment, in this exercise, one word that captures the essence of your experience for the last few minutes as you have been delving in and making notes to yourself. Ask for the one word, or recognize the one word that carries it all for you. We bless you, we honor you, we give thanks for your brilliance. We are so grateful to be heard, that our offering may touch a place in your heart that resonates and discard whatever doesn't. Blessings on your journey. We are THEA. So I know you're there somewhere, Meenakshi. I'm thinking to hand it over to you, and I want to be sure that we have time for everyone to share their one word. And I pass it back to you.
Thank you so much, Danae. This really was very, very powerful. Many things happened, and I got the message. And yes, I would like everyone to take a moment. I'll call on your name, and if you could please give the one word, as Danae said, the word that you got in the end. So Heike is sharing butterfly.
Mhm.
White feather, what was your word?
My word is joy.
Thank you. Joy. Butterfly and joy. Johnny, what was your word?
My word is love. I feel love.
Thank you. Tree, what was your word?
Sacrifice.
Hmm.
Meenakshi, what was your word? So I got love, but then it had an undertow. I'm seeing undertows today, and the undertow was happiness.
Mm.
Danae, what was your word?
Mine was mercy.
Ah, how interesting. Johnny, I think you would like to share something. Were you looking to say something else? Yeah,
Well, I'm pretty new to this, so I'm just listening and trying to learn some things.
thank you. So, Danae, how do you want to close it?
I'm being prompted by Thea to make a little announcement, if that's all right.
Yes.
I've just been through major complete, put into a completely different life than the one I was living, lightning fast. I'm integrated. I don't actually have whiplash. I'm good. However, I'm being put back out in the world quickly. And so on January 3rd, I am doing a group experience with Thea, and it's actually at a healing center in person and virtual simultaneously. And I would love to have everyone join me. Johnny, you're saying that you're new at all this, and it's pretty magnificent stuff. So maybe there's a way we can share that information once the advertising comes out. I would like to close the circle first by really saying thank you to each of you for coming here and bringing the gift of yourself. And you know, we're wisdom, we're wise people, and yet also we need to be like children, just innocent and hearing what's being offered and taking only what resonates and letting the rest go. And I'm very grateful that we could all do that together, because when we gather together, it really boosts all of us. And I know I need that. I need the boosting of the collective. So thank you for your sacred sharing. And let's just take a minute to close our eyes and let ourselves settle. May we enjoy this day authentically. May we contribute the gifts that arose within us to share. May we receive the gifts of everyone who is giving globally and interdimensionally. And may we remember, feel, and know that the truth of love is happening. We're not going to get there someday. It is happening. We are in it. We are that ocean of love happening now through us now. It's not someday. It's right now. And let us take rest in that and refuge in that and walk in that. Blessings for everybody, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Danae.
Mm.
Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Well, thank you.
Always in the heart of Mother Earth. Thank you so much.
Okay. Blessings, everyone.